Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
So many earnings. Again, we are just in the heart of earnings season. The S&Ps, let's start with those, Joel. They're up 7 points here. We're getting another rally. 1581. We are trading right at the high right now. The low overnight was 1570.75. Nothing could keep this market down here, Joel.
Tight range yesterday, Dennis. Real tight range for the S&Ps. Only 9 points. Bounced off Wednesday's low early last night at 1570.75. Only two relevant numbers on the upside: the 8-day high at 1583 and the 9-day high at 1589.75.
And we had this whole rotation thing going on yesterday. So before we get to the ExxonMobil numbers, let's just talk about the overall rotation. Yeah, this rotation going out of the leaders and into the laggards yesterday. We obviously had the Procter & Gamble earnings were bad. AT&T earnings weren't great. They beat the hell out of those two stocks yesterday, obviously. And everything else, because these two were one of your leaders. They had closed on their 52-week highs day before. A little bit, this defensive, this consumer products type of stuff with Procter & Gamble. And you saw it go into other stocks like Johnson & Johnson was very weak yesterday. You saw stocks like Pfizer, Merck, Lilly had earnings, but they were all weak too. These stocks had been the stocks that had really been rallying, and they actually pulled back. So, and it's funny, the market was flat, so you had these stocks all weak, and these were your leaders here for basically the last 3 or 4 months, and the money was rotating into stocks like Barrick Gold, which had been beat up. Now Barrick had earnings too, but it rotated into Gold Corp, GG. It rotated into stocks like NEM. It rotated into Microsoft. Stop on that chart when you get to Microsoft. Wow, what a rally again for Microsoft yesterday here. This was absolutely incredible. Microsoft popping up to another high. We were at $29, $28 when it had earnings a week ago, and here we are at $31.76. This stock spent 6 months basically between 27 and 29, and now in 5 trading sessions it's went from 29 to almost $32. What a breakout here from Microsoft.
Yeah, well, that IDC report is just like just like a thing of the past. When it knocked it down, it gave you an opportunity. This is the highest the stock's been trading since May of last year. We stopped just short of the $32 level. You may get a little paper accumulating there. But above that, you're looking at 32.33, which was the high in the May 1st, and 32.61 on May 19th. And I believe on the ZNGA news desk yesterday, I heard that they were coming out with a new Xbox or revealing some new games or whatever. So a little bit of news, but not enough to boost that. It's definitely a technical breakdown in Microsoft.
Yep.
Finally, I think I've been calling for it for 6
Yeah,
months.
you did. You called for it forever there. So props to you. You're finally getting rewarded here with this huge spike. Obviously, just an incredible move for Microsoft there yesterday. Let's go to the ExxonMobil earnings. We've got so many earnings here. We're not going to get a chance to do them all, but we're going to cover the big guns. ExxonMobil here initially spiked up 212 versus 204, so they did beat. It spiked up over that key $90 psychological level, but it's back down below it now. I bet you 90, 50,000 shares up there on the New York. I can see book, which will become active at 9:30. I bet you that 90 puts a lid on it off the hop if it does continue to go into rally mode. It did get, how high did it get there, Joel?
I noticed it did get to 90.38, and then if you go on the dailies here, you did have a high here at 90.33 back on April 4th. So if in fact it can clear the $90 level, keep an eye out for 90.33, the 90.88. But boy, this thing has just had monster rally here over the last 5-6 trading sessions.
Yeah,
so
and coming
we'll see if it tires at the 90.
I think it will. I think you had so many highs in late February, early March in that whole 90 area. You did take it out in late March, early April, where you got up to the whole just below 91. But you're coming into all kinds of major resistance up here. This earnings report was good, but not great. I think investors are getting nervous because this thing did rally $4 basically in the last week and a half. into this earnings report. So a lot of air below here. Obviously, if we don't take out and pierce through that 90 early in the session, the bears might grab control of this one. COP reported earnings
Trading
too.
on yesterday's low, too. Trading on yesterday's low. One key factor here, 89.35 was yesterday's low, and we've hit that in the pre-market. So if you're playing it on the long side off the open, takes out 89.35, you may want to head for the hills.
ConocoPhillips reported earnings here too, $1.42 versus $1.39. Stock trading flat right now, and offered pretty much flat at 58.40. So only 600 shares. 58 bucks. I think that's going to be your first little bogey. I do see some institutional size down there, but this one here obviously hasn't had the run up into the earnings that ExxonMobil did. At the same time, the report wasn't that great either, though. So it'll be interesting to see where they take this stock in the regular session.
Yeah, 58.55 yesterday's high. We're only a few cents away from that. Keep an eye on that. You got the 58.72 level relevant, then you got a gap to fill. But let's see if we can clear that 58.50 level first. Not much at 58. I see 57.89 the low from yesterday, but then you get a fall off to the major support here at 57.
Bristol Myers actually yesterday had a weak day too. With that, like we were saying, everything was rotating out of the pharmaceutical companies, and Bristol Myers was weak yesterday. It's continuing to be weak here this morning. They reported inline numbers, 41 versus 41. That's not really good enough. This stock has run basically this year from 33 bucks. It got up to almost $43 there 2 days ago. It's pulling back here now at 40.75 from the 41.45 close. So showing a little bit of weakness. The rotation continues out of Bristol Myers here today.
40.61, the low in the pre-market. Let's go to the daily charts. You do have a low at 40.52 and another one at 40.31. So big down open here, though. You are opening into some support.
Lots of other ones here. Let's talk about these other couple pharmaceutical companies. Biogen, BIIB, reported earnings here this morning, and they beat big time. I'm talking big time. $1.97 versus $1.59. Stock is trading up $5.82, so it's getting a good lift here. My only concern here again is the same story. Yesterday you had money flowing out of this after a breakout. It was definitely a reversal day for Biogen yesterday. After hours last night, people were nervous and selling this thing below 200. It's getting a pop on the good earnings report at 212 right now, so it's up $6. I'm kind of concerned here, though, despite the good earnings and everything, that just the overall money moving out of this sector here could hit Biogen too. So it'll be interesting to see if it can hold on to these gains or not.
Yeah, 214 spike high in the pre-market. I believe this is going to be an all-time high here at 217.80. That's your major resistance. Boy, I tell you, you look at this 205 level. You had a low at 204.36. That's a 3-day low. Good $7 away from there, but below that 205 level, you can test 200. But these $200 stocks are very difficult to trade.
Yeah, they're all difficult when you get the spreads. Like it's got a $1.25 spread here in the pre-market. Obviously, that'll narrow when you do get to the regular session, but they are tricky to trade. CELG's up here too. It reported earnings of $1.37 versus $1.35. These two moved together very well, CELG and Biogen. CELG really had a breakdown day yesterday. The stock was at 128.52 2 days ago. Completely fell out of bed yesterday, falling and getting down to as low as 116.80 before rallying a little bit into the close. It is getting a bit of a lift on this earnings, but I just don't know if a 2-cent beat is going to be good enough for the stock to continue to rally here or not. 119.90 is where it's trading in the pre-market.
120.50 has been the high in the pre-market. After that happened, someone got a little nervous, took it down to 115. Have to take a look at this on the daily charts. Nice run up in this stock. You got a lot of air in here, going up to yesterday's high at 124.69, and I do that 116.80 low coincides with the low that you had back on April 10th at 116.61. So there you got a good level there to look at if you're looking to cover a short or perhaps exit a long.
Lots of other ones here. LUV, Joel, getting away from the biotechs for a bit. LUV reported 7 cents versus 3 cents. 13.75 it's trading up at right now. I do have a trading position on in LUV for full disclosure here. Looking here at these highs, though, from the last couple of well, looking at a high from 13.57. Is this a new 52-week high for LUV? I think it might be, actually.
Yeah, I think that the airlines have been soaring lately. Yeah, 13.57 is probably your bogey here. That's been the high of the move. Trading above it in the pre-market, not by much. So if it comes back in there, take a look at that as being minor support.
Dow Chemical, DOW, another one reporting 69 cents versus 62 cents. Stock is trading up about $1.10 here in the pre-market. A big move for Dow Chemical, 33.30 after closing at 32.17. So lots of stocks getting a lift here off of decent earnings.
Yeah, 33.48 was just our pre-market high we hit a little bit ago. Looking at the dailies here, you're right back up in some major resistance area. You did have 3 highs between 33.48 and 33.58 back March 18th through the 20th, so you may want to take a look at that level as resistance, and then the high of the move at 33.81. But good old Dow, the old Midland, Michigan company here, moving up a buck on not a ton of volume, so buyer beware on this.
14,000 shares. Triple M, $1.61 versus $1.66. This looks like it's going to get beat up here today. Actually, they cut their outlook too. This is not good for a company that actually has been performing. Had a pretty good year. We were trading down around 94 bucks, and it's run up here throughout the year. Ran up about $3-4 into the earnings report. It's giving that back here this morning. You can see boom with the earnings miss and the cut outlook. It's trading down on the 104 area right now on 247,000 shares. We're talking some big volume here too for the 3M sell-off.
103 has been the spike low. We're recovering as high as 104.80. So those could be some good parameters to follow if you're trading the stock. Looking at the daily here, big run here up from the 104 level. We've traded under that. Under 103, you got a double bottom at 102.59 and 102.72. So if it does cut through that 103 level, you playing it from the the short side. Don't expect it a whole lot of major follow through because you do have those 2 bottoms from the beginning of March to contend with.
There's so many companies here. We're running short on time. I'm going to go to Zynga. Zynga reported earnings last night. Stock is trading down here pretty significantly, 304. It's down 30 cents. They beat on their earnings report. They made 1 cent, supposed to lose 4 cents, but they're cutting both their Q2 outlook on the top and bottom line. Bottom line, they're looking to lose 3 to 4 cents. They're only supposed to lose a penny. The top line, more concerning, only supposed to get for Q2 225 to 235 million versus 260 million. So nobody's liking this cut in the earnings guidance for Q2 here, and the stock is trading down about 9% right now in the pre-market, right around that psychological $3 level.
Yeah, someone took it up to 350. They must have been reading the headlines wrong or something. Farmville, a little bit on the brain or something. Then they took it down to 281. I mean, I'm not sure if we have many traders that are active in this stock, but just kind of noticing here, since the initial craziness in the stock, kind of been settling in a range here, 294 on the lower end of things, and 308 on the upper end. So it's been trading there for a while. Use that as some early parameters if you're trying to trade Zynga.
Qualcomm trading down here too. Last night they reported $1.17 versus $1.16. They lowered Q3 guidance to 97 cents to $1.05. Analyst estimates were up at $1.04. So Qualcomm, which had a nice run into the earnings, it basically ran from the whole $63 area up to 66, is now back down near these lows, trading below 63 right now at 62.95. Obviously in the pre-market it got even uglier. I guess last night it got uglier. What is that low you're pointing out there, Joel?
61.33, but since then you kind of had a little bit of an uptrend here for a stock still down $3. 61.33, I'd use that as a parameter. The last pullback found some support here at the $62 level, so those a couple reference points. Let's see how that looks in the context of the daily charts here. The daily is not going to do as much here. Let's look at the weekly. On the weekly chart here, really not much. Under the 60 should be huge support. You had a 60.22 low on the beginning of the year. The yearly low, 60.22.
Let's just fly through a few of these other ones here because we don't have time to go into all the details here. You had Hershey reported $1.09 versus $1.04. Again, I'll warn you on the Hershey, it is trading up here in the pre-market on the earnings beat, but again, money was flowing out of this yesterday, so it wouldn't surprise me if sellers did sneak into the Hershey's here again. Also reporting Hog, Joel, 99 cents versus 99 cents, so right in line. It is rallying too, actually. It's up 20 cents here on its earnings report with that inline earnings estimate. UPS also reported earnings. They reported $1.04 versus $1.01, so a 3-cent beat for UPS. We had Altria, which is MO, reported 54 cents versus 53 cents. 36 bucks looks absolutely enormous to me on that stock. Potash, POT, reported 63 cents versus 61. You had Akamai last night. We could stop with Akamai because it's really getting a lift here. Reported 51 cents versus 46 cents. Q2 outlook, they are increasing, so sales guidance is going up. That's why Akamai is up 18% today. What a lift here for this one. AKAM, sorry,
okay,
Joel.
I should know that.
It's all right. AKAM, $6.61. It's trading up here in the pre-market. If we get the pre-market chart here, you'll see this big lift in Akamai.
You did get a run all the way up to 43.80. We've settled back down since then. Finding some good support at the $42 level, so that'd be an eye to keep an eye on if you don't want to let some of these profits go. Looking, I think you have to probably go to a weekly to look for this. You did have a high here at 42.53. Currently, where we're trading, that's been the high for the year so far. So trading up at some resistance, but the way these stocks run, it's hard to step and follow them sometimes.
Into a cut guidance here last night to INTU, and it's down 12% here. Citigroup and JP Morgan both ganging up on Intuit, now both downgrading the stock here. Wow, what a sell-off here for Intuit. This is going to be a disaster stock of the day, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, here's a pre-market chart where you're down 8 sticks and, not showing much of a bounce here. 56.40, just kind of skimming along the bottom here. I'm sure we're going to have to take a weekly chart here to find some support. 56.31 and 56.58 with some lows that you had back in July of last year, and also a 55.85 low. That happened a few weeks in a row. So you are going to come into some support first at the 56.31 and then the 55.85.
Let's move back to the overall market here. We had a few others ones that reported earnings. There was so many, hundreds of companies reporting here today, so obviously we can't get into them all. But the market continues to drift higher here. So you had some companies that missed. You had some companies that beat. More beat here than missed today. It's just interesting that there's always something picking up the slack. Yesterday, despite all that weakness in the Procter & Gamble's, in the AT&T's, in your leaders, the money just rotated out into other stocks. So the money just doesn't rotate out of the stocks, it seems like, anymore. It rotates into a different sector. So like we said, there's always something picking up the slack, and it's like yesterday the laggards were picking up the slack. This year is, the gold stocks and stuff. It could be a new trend here. Sometimes you do see a follow-through day like that, so it's something to keep in mind if you're trading. That obviously some of these laggards here, which have been weak, even this morning Barrick Gold's up here again, so some of these stocks, could continue to find some strength. Just as money wants to find a home in stocks, it wants to find some sector to go into.
Right. Just during the show, we did bump up to 1582.75. That missed the 8-day high by 1 tick. Still trading up there. Let's keep an eye on that level. Above that, we start to migrate towards the 1590 level. Coming back on the downside here. You do have Wednesday's high at 79 and Tuesday's high at 78. So if if you start to slip into the 1570 handle, should find some minor support around 1578.
That's our show for today, guys. Amazon and Starbucks reporting here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll analyze those reports and everything else for you tomorrow. Have a great trading day.